Good evening and welcome to the City Council regular meeting. Roll call, please.
Roll call. Mayor Garrett.
Here.
Councilmember Jennings.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Present.
Councilmember Canes.
Here.
Councilmember Miller.
Here.
Madam Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. I invite everyone that's in the audience and then we'll get Zoom up to say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, I'm going to tongue tie. All right, I have approval. Someone make approval for the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Jennings.
Didn't we have to add something?
It's been added to there was an updated agenda, which has it was the ZBA.
Oh, I don't have updated agenda, okay.
Yeah.
Councilmember Miller, there is an updated agenda on the table.
In the packet?
On the table.
All David was added to the ZBA.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Councilmember Jennings.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Yes.
Councilmember Canes.
Yes.
Councilmember Miller.
Yes.
Mayor Garrett.
Yes.
Motion carried to approve the agenda.
Thank you. So next where it says approval agenda, that's actually going to be going to the ZBA. Will you hand me one also, please? 'Cause mine still says.
Yes, I am.
So we would want to adjourn the city council. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'd like to adjourn the city council. So I'll take a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn the city council meeting and open as the zoning board of appeals.
Is there a second?
Second.
We are adjourned, and we are now open as the zoning board of appeals. Roll call, please.
Board Member Cantor.
Here.
Board Member Jennings.
Here.
Board Member Canes.
Here.
Board Member Miller.
Here.
Board Member Garrett.
Here.
You have a quorum for the ZBA.
Thank you. First up is going to be the BP gas station at 26727 Southfield Road.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to table the discussion and reconvene on January 23rd of 2023.
Is there a second?
Well, before we do that, so this was this zoning request came in November, and it was noticed for the November council meeting. It was adjourned, the public hearing on this was adjourned to tonight hearing. Is there anyone present that's here to address the public hearing, the continuation of the public hearing? That would assess that first, and then if no
Okay.
one, continue it to the January date.
Did we do? I thought we did the public hearing.
You opened
Last
it
week.
and continued it to a date certain, which is today.
Okay.
So that way, if any individuals weren't there or had been there or came and then didn't, or wanted to make additional public comment
Right.
based on the submissions, which obviously they didn't submit. So my recommendation is to open it up if anyone, or inquire if anyone is here to address that. If not, then continue it to the January date.
Okay, so before doing that, is there anyone here for the public comment on the ZBA? Is there anyone that would like to make a comment on the BP gas station, the zoning board of appeals? Thank you. Okay, so I will take a motion for what you're going to say.
I'll repeat my motion to reconvene the ZBA. So do I want to reconvene the public hearing as well, or no?
I would continue
Okay,
the
so-
public hearing, because again, there may be,
Yeah.
depending on whatever they submit,
Yeah.
there may be a desire for the public to address that.
Okay, so I'll make a motion to reconvene the public hearing and meeting on the BP gas station on January 23rd, 2023.
Second.
It's been moved to second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Board Member Canes.
Yes.
Board Member Miller.
Yes.
Board Member Garrett.
Yes.
Board Member Jennings.
Yes.
Board Member Cantor.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. I'll take someone to make a motion to adjourn the ZBA and rejoin the city council.
Motion to adjourn ZBA and enter back into council session.
Second.
It's been moved in second. We do not have to do roll call on that one again. Okay, thank you. So, moving right along to public comments for items on the agenda. So anything that you would like to talk about that's on the agenda. You just can come up to the microphone. You don't have to give your address unless you want to.
My name's Jason Hammond. I'm a resident. I noticed on the agenda that in the city administrator's report, there is a note that the city administrator plans to search for a Parks and Rec coordinator sometime in 2023. And I just want to encourage that. I think that's a great idea. I know that there's some question about whether this new Parks and Rec coordinator will be a full-time or a part-time position. My personal opinion is that it should be a full-time position. But at the end of the day, I'm just glad that it's coming up for discussion, and I'm looking forward to see what comes out of that search in early 2023, hopefully sooner rather than later. Thanks.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to make a comment about any items that's on the agenda for this evening? If so, if you would just come to the microphone and give your name, you do not have to give your address unless you choose to. Okay. Moving down to the consent agenda, I take a motion for the approval of the consent agenda.
I'd like to make a motion for pulling C.
Can we make the motion first of the consent agenda, and then we can do it during discussions of what we're going to actually pull?
Okay, make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, now, you want to move, take what out? And actually, that's backwards. I did it backwards. sorry.
I would like to pull C. Disbursement report.
Anything else?
Sounds like a no.
Okay, so the motion is for the consent agenda with the exception of C. Can I take a roll call, please?
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor,
Yes.
Councilmember Canes.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Karen, the November 2022 disbursement report, if you can give us the page that you're going to be referring to.
Okay, first is page 19. And I don't know if these can be answered tonight or not. I'm wondering the training budget. I believe we have $5,000 in the training budget, and have spent quite a bit of it. But I'm wondering, there are, at the bottom of the page, 2 expenses for travel expenses, one for Bruce and one for Kelly, and it's under government operations. What is that? Why wouldn't that be under training?
Both of those, because training that is in here that you see under the other accounts are for staff members. The ones for council are under government operations, and that's part of training or travel expense for council members.
Okay, and what, is there a budget that we have for that, a limit?
I don't have that in front of me. Again, if that's something that I set time aside this morning for questions, if that would have been asked in advance, I would have answers for that.
Right, okay, well, there's some things that I think maybe residents would be interested in too.
Yeah,
Oh, and I meant to ask this in
again-
our last meeting, these, page 20,
Did you have something else? I'm sorry, so did you say?
Yes, I was just going to say it allows us to be prepared so we don't have those aha or gotcha moments at the meetings. And I'm more than happy to answer that at the meeting, but if I have that in advance, then I have that information available to give to you at that time. That's all I'm saying.
And then travel expense, just to put it on the record, that is mileage driving to the Michigan Municipal League annual training that all of us were invited to go to.
I know, but $252.50 for yours, and Bruce's $544.79, that's just for travel expenses?
So
This
it's
included
seven,
the,
it's, no,
Hotels.
mine is specifically for mileage, and it's how much per?
62.5 cents.
And it was where? In
In
Muskegon?
Muskegon.
yeah,
So driving
so-
round trip, you can look on MapQuest to see how long the actual, how long, you can have a seat over here. You can go onto MapQuest to see how long the distance is directly from my address to Muskegon and back again, because that's exactly where I take it from. I don't take it off the odometer, I take it straight from, not MapQuest, Google Maps.
Yeah. And then Bruce also, because he registered later, that includes his Airbnb reservation. There were no hotel rooms left for him to stay in at that point in time.
Which was actually cheaper than the...
Yes, it was cheaper than the hotel room.
But I think I was there a night longer than Kelly.
Okay, well then that, I need to go ahead for a second to page 37. Government operations, $25,000 was budgeted, but so far we have spent $127,142.51. So we've used 508.57% of the budget. What is going on with that situation? We're just putting, are we just putting, you know, like those two things go into government operations? How do we know what's in that pot? Like that's a lot of money. That's a huge difference.
Again, I would say that had I been asked that ahead of time, I would have that information readily available to give to you.
Okay. All right, then back to page 20. I was going to ask this in the last meeting and ran out of time. VC, under technology, VC3 Inc., unlimited service contract, $15,600. What?
That is the formal name of IT right now.
Okay. Does city council go over the contracts regularly? Is this a renewal?
Again, it's something that I will have to get back to you on. What page was that?
Page 20. It's $15,600.
Anything else?
Yeah, page 23. Capital Acquisition Fund, we've got $45,062 on Canfield equipment for 2022 Tahoe, $10,430.19. And then Midwest Public Safety video equipment, $18,491. Midwest Public Safety, something cloud monthly plan, $5,772. And then Canfield Equipment Service Police Equipment, $10,369.16. Again, that's under capital expenditures. I'm just wondering, service equipment for, I'm assuming that's one of the new vehicles that we got. Was that included in what we budgeted for those vehicles? I think it was about $100,000.
Again, I will have to get back to you on that.
Okay.
So I plead with you to ask me those questions ahead of time so that we can be prepared to answer that.
Is there anything else?
Yes. Page 34. This is for Scott Baker. September 23rd, 2022, appearance at OCRD to record partial vacation of Sunnybrook Alley. I'm wondering why that took place in July 2021. I'm wondering what took so long to record that, and that $130 that's being charged, is that going to be billed back to anyone?
So that's, Leanne in my office will occasionally record anything that has to go to Register of Deeds. There was a limitation on when you could, similar to what Mr. Hammond was saying before the meeting about having to make an appointment to get into the Register of Deeds. They were closed, so she does have a number of things that were backed up. I'm not sure why it took until September of 2020.
Right.
I thought it was done a
Over a
long
year.
time ago, but
Yeah. Okay.
typically no. With the, again, like we talked about last month, pass-through costs to applicants or developers, those are costs that are in part included in the application fee or the fee that the individual for the vacation, they would have had to prepare the, is this, I'm trying to remember, is this? This wasn't Michigan First, was it?
No, it's on Sunnybrook. It's Bruce.
So, okay, yeah, normally that would be included in the fee that the applicant has to pay. I don't know if there was one paid or not, but generally they're not passed along after the fact, the recording fees.
Okay, and we are going to look at that, right?
Yeah,
Is that
the
something that
project
we can
reimbursement, I
bring to
think,
us?
yeah, for, especially for, like with the Panera PUD.
Right.
That one in particular, I think we should look into because of the amount of effort and time that the city put in, not only the city staff, but the city consultants as well. Far exceeded any application fee that was received from the applicant in that.
Is there anything else?
Yes. At page 36, 37, there's multiple pages with property and liability insurance, and we are at 100% of the budget in most of the sections. Just wondering, that's a concern since we're only 5 months into the budget year.
Page 36 is all revenues, so anything that's above that, that's a win for us. We would hope to get that amount. Page 37, if you have
36 at the bottom is revenues, I'm sorry, is it expenditures?
Do you have specific line
It
items?
says right
that you're
here
looking
on page 36, it says total revenue.
Yeah, I think I
And
can.
under it, it says expenditures, property and liability insurance, $40,000. And we've spent
Right, we tried very hard on
$40,164.
that to estimate what that will be, but that is our annual cost to us, so we're 164 over what we budgeted.
Right, and the reason why we're at 100% early in the year is because a lot of these things tend to be, can be like annual payments, so we pay them at a certain particular time, but now there's nothing left to pay for the rest of the year.
Okay. Is this also under public safety? It's at 100%. Okay, then, citizen communication,
What page are you on?
I'm sorry, page 37. Citizen communication, we budgeted 15,000, we've only spent 500. I'm wondering, I haven't received a Your Town in the mail, I'm just wondering if that went out?
And it's
And,
going out this week, it went to be published with a due date this week to be sent, to be mailed.
okay, thank you.
Is there anything else?
Yes, page 38. Almost halfway down the page, Department 502, professional and contractual. Nothing was budgeted, but $16,232 has been spent. So I'm wondering, are there new categories created, or what would create a situation like that where nothing was budgeted but that much was spent?
Anything else?
Yeah, page 48. Through November 30th, we're $515,410 under, expenses over revenue. Is,
It says revenues over expenses. We're 515,000 revenue over expenses.
Keep in mind, we're not at the end of the year yet, so these numbers will change. This is a moving or a fluid document there. We do not have all of the revenues in that we normally receive throughout the year, so that will show a difference as those revenues are generated.
Anything else?
no, that's it.
Okay, so just for a discussion, we went to a training on last week, and one thing that we all agreed to is the fact is that one, to get the packets out earlier, to get them out by Thursday night, so we all can review the packets, and then if we had any questions, to bring them up by Friday or Monday. The city manager has put time aside every Monday to have conversations, questions about the packet. And we all agreed not to do gotcha moments or making anyone feel, put on the spot for it. So I just want to say if we could really just stay, or can we try at least for 90 days just to try it so we can have, no hard feelings. I feel like Sue feels a certain way. But to have these kind of discussions beforehand, we could still bring them up to have an explanation for the residents to know, but to put people on the spot right then and there, to also look like she doesn't know what's going on. If we had this discussion ahead of time, she could have brought this information for you. So, I mean, I'm just asking if we can just do that, at least just for the 90 days for what we agreed to, at least also bringing this type of information up in the study session, because we just sat in the study session for an hour and a half where we could have had this conversation too. So that was just my one thing in that sense. So if you have anything else?
No, but we did not agree to anything
Okay,
at
so
the meeting.
what we're
Well,
gonna-
excuse
What
me,
we're
yes,
going to
something
do is
else.
we're going to take, I'll take a motion for to approve the consent agenda for C.
Motion to approve the consent agenda.
For C.
For
just
C.
for C.
For C.
Second?
It's been moved in second. Roll call, please.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes.
Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Yes.
Councilmember Canes,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. Next, we're going to go to the CDBG Program Year 2023 Proposed Projects Public Hearing. And who wants to introduce that?
I'll do that. This is actually supposed to be the public hearing, so you need to open the public hearing at this point in time.
So the public hearing is open.
Okay. All right.
Just pretend.
So the CDBG program that we have now for the 2023 proposed projects, there are specific items that we can request money through Oakland County, and part of that is senior services and neighborhood cleanups. Those are the only things that we qualify for under this program to request money. So we're asking for the total of $7,000 to be allocated to us. And per these program guidelines, they can only be used for public service activities with a maximum of $3,500 allocated to each activity. There's no eligible or income eligible census tract, so the CDBG allocation is used for senior services. So funds will be used to plan, manage, and staff programming for senior residents over the age of 62. Activities may include recreational outings to local and regional attractions, learning opportunities, and similar events. And then neighborhood cleanups. Funds will be used to plan, promote, and manage programming in assisting senior residents over the age of 62 with light yard work and cleanup activities. So this allows for us to be able to provide a service that we wouldn't have money in the budget to do. And it's something that is not a cost to us to do. It's money that we request from Oakland County from their CDBG account. CDBG stands for Community Development Block Grant. And it's just a wonderful way to continue services provided to our seniors in the community.
So it's a public hearing, so this is where you have you want to be heard on the CDBG information, proposed projects. So we have to also do a, God, I keep forgetting where, we have to do a, it's an action item, is it?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so-
the following thing under
Okay.
9A.
Oh, yeah, okay, thank you. Anyone want to be heard on the CDBG proposed projects?
And I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, Zoom is down tonight. I cannot get the computer to function to work for it. So the only thing that we have available is
Facebook.
people streaming and seeing us on Facebook.
Well, if you have a question, if you're on Facebook, you can email Sue
Mhm.
at smontenegro@lathrupvillage.org.
Correct.
Okay, well, I'll close the public hearing. No one wants to speak, so we'll go right into our action items. First one up, go figure, is the CDBG program year 2023 proposed projects. Someone want to make a motion or introduce it? But you just did introduce it, so we can take a motion.
Motion to adopt the resolution for program year 2023, Community Development Block Grant for Inclusion in Oakland County's annual action plan submittal to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion?
Yes. In the budget, it says $2,000 under CDBG funds on page 37. We get $7,000. I'm wondering where the rest of that money is. And then also, can we have a discussion about how that money is designated? I know over $1,600 that it was just spent on a brunch. And if you look at some of the other communities and how they spend their money, there's, seems to be more meaningful things and something that might be more impactful for seniors than, spending it on a lunch. So if we could have some conversation about how that is spent. Same thing with the neighborhood cleanup, $3,500. The grant proposal says it's going to service 50 people. How will people be chosen to be part of that program? Who will be doing the work? Who will be managing it? What will that fall under?
Where did you see the 50 people?
In the grant proposal.
Can you do the page number, please?
We just got these, so I'm not sure what page. It's in the supplemental packet, so.
I think we already have a list of seniors that we have been working with, and we try to expand outside of that to make sure that we have, if there are people that have additional needs. Primarily, we try to focus on people that do not have family members around that would be in more of a hardship or need. We work hand in hand with our police department through their Adopt a Senior program, and these are funds that just help us to be able to help the seniors here in the community.
Okay, that's seven people, I believe, are on that list. But if you go to the second to the last page, under project purpose, number of clients to be served is 50 people. So I'm wondering what the plan is for that. I said I'd like to look at something more meaningful than one-time luncheon or that kind of thing. Something that's going to have an impact on someone.
Do you have some solutions?
Yeah, there's all kinds of things that other communities have done.
Did you research them?
Did I do that?
Did you research them?
Yes, I did research them, actually.
I'm just asking to hear them.
Okay, there are Independence, they helped with seniors with minor home repair, housing rehabilitation in Holly, emergency service, emergency payments for food in Milford, senior center, Springfield Township, I think. Bond access fee for senior facility building.
I think what he's asking, what's your suggestion? What should we do? What's your ideas for how we should spend the money?
Think that I said I think we should have a conversation about it.
So again, we were just in the study session where we could have had this up. I mean,
We just got this afternoon.
I didn't know, we've had the CDBG to
We
know
got
this
this?
was coming up, let me finish, that we knew this was coming up. We got this on Thursday.
No, this,
And
this
so-
No, we didn't.
so
We got it
I'm saying
today.
we're gonna discuss the CDBG on Thursday, and if you knew what the CDBG was,
It
you would
isn't
have
in-
that.
it isn't in
you-
here.
You would have an idea of what CDBG funds are, and we could have discussed it in the study session. Granted, we just got this, but this actual, this coming up, we saw it on the agenda, and if you know what the CDBG funds are, then we could have that discussion in the study session. That's why we do have the study sessions at that time.
It wasn't on the agenda, Kelly, until
And-
today. It was
If
added.
I can just interject, I think too that $7,000, no matter how you plan it, does not go very far. So for the types of things that were listed in the grant in order to obtain the grant, those are well thought out plans to be able to do things, activities. There's a wide range of things there for seniors. It's not just luncheons, but it's ways to help seniors. That's the thing we need to be focused on. If it's something that council wishes to consider beyond that $7,000, that's something to really discuss during budget season and really allocate funding for that, for more specific items.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, too. I mean, right now, we're just trying to make the resolution to apply for the grant.
Correct.
So it's, we'll get the $3,500, and then we can decide on exactly what we want to do on it. If we want to do something different other than a luncheon, whether it's a lecture or some other type of learning opportunity or whatever, we can decide that, once the grant is approved. And I don't think that has to be decided right now, correct?
Correct.
Okay, well, it looks like it's laid out for the grant. Usually grants are pretty specific, and you have to then have follow-up to make sure that you spent the money the way you said you were going to spend it, so.
Right,
If
but
there's something,
some of the things that you said from other communities, those are, it's written specifically but vaguely enough that it covers a lot of those things that you've already identified. So the
Okay.
request is to adopt the resolution for the 2023 program year for the community development block grant, and to be able to submit that. So that is the ask.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
oh my goodness.
Councilmember Jennings,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor,
Yes?
Councilmember Canes,
Yes.
Councilmember Miller,
Yes, with the caveat that we discuss how this money is spent.
Mayor Garrett,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you. Next up, we have to set the 2023 city council meeting dates.
Okay, you have meeting dates before you to maintain as much as possible meeting dates to be held on the first and third Mondays of the month, with study sessions being the first Monday of the month, and then the regular meetings being held on the third Monday of the month with the study session prior to that. Some of those weeks obviously fall when there are holidays scheduled, so additional dates are listed in red that would ask to have those dates moved to the following week. So in those months, they would be on the second and fourth Mondays of that month. Some of them, such as in February, you would have a meeting on that first Monday, but February 27th would be the fourth Monday because of the holiday, President's Day, that is that weekend, or that Monday. So those dates are before council for consideration and approval.
Thank you. Would someone make a motion for the city council meeting schedule?
Make a motion to adopt the 2023 city council meeting schedule.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor?
Yes.
Councilmember Canes?
Yes.
Councilmember Miller?
Yes,
Mayor Garrett?
Yes,
Councilmember Jennings?
Yes.
Motion carried to adopt it, so.
Thank you. Next is set the 2023 Board of Review dates.
Okay, so the Board of Review dates are before you. The Board of Review meets to listen to citizens that might question their assessment, and there are several dates that are planned out. The first session would be on Thursday, March 9th, from 8:30 a.m. to noon and from 1 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. The second session would be on Thursday, March 16th, from 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And then the winter session would be on July 18th, the summer and winter sessions, I'm sorry. And this is just for the purpose of correcting clerical errors and mutual mistakes of fact in the role in conducting such additional business as authorized or permitted by the General Tax Act.
It's out of order.
That would be on Tuesday, July 18th from 9 a.m. or at 9 a.m. and on Tuesday, December 12th at 9 a.m. And the ask is that council sets the Board of Review dates for 2023.
Yeah, that just for reference, it's on page 106 and 107, because it's out of order in the packet.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah.
We couldn't find it.
Sorry.
All right.
Did you find it? Does someone make the motion already?
I'll make a motion to approve the 2023 Board of Review meeting schedule.
Need a second? It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Canes?
Yes.
Councilmember Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Garrett?
Yes.
Councilmember Jennings?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next up is the motion to adopt special assessment resolution number 1 and set public hearing date for January 23rd, 2023.
So we have several different things that are listed for the special assessment resolution. We're asking to set that date on January 23rd. At the end of the year, there are delinquent water bills, the 21-22 sidewalk replacement, the 21-22 ditch and culvert assessment, and other bills such as nuisance cuts that have not been paid. This starts the process of moving these amounts to the tax roll if they're not paid by February 28th. Then they will be sent to the county and added to those parcel owners' property as a lien against their property. And, again, we're asking that the public hearing be held at the January 23rd council meeting.
Thank you. Someone make a motion?
Motion to adopt the attached resolution and set the public hearing for special assessments for January 23rd, 2023 at 7:30 p.m.
Second.
It's been moved and second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Councilmember Miller?
Yes.
Mayor Garrett?
Yes.
Councilmember Jennings?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor?
Yes.
Councilmember Canes?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next up is the iView system for HVAC at City Hall.
Oh, boy, do we have
Yes.
stuff to share on this. We have been getting complaints recently that not only from staff, because we're either sweating to death or freezing. We could be at 65 on the administrative side of the offices, and police could be at 85 in the same time. We do not have the ability to go in and manually set our thermostats, or even change it from heating to cooling or cooling to heating. I went down in the basement last week and noticed that the air conditioning was running at full blast. It was 62 degrees downstairs. I couldn't shut the fan off, I couldn't turn the air off. We can't do any of that because this component is broken and does not work. Over the weekend, we had people here on Sunday, and it was so cold we had to give a partial refund to them because of the inconvenience. Today we had a repass in here with a bunch of senior citizens, people that were complaining, or that are also either recovering from or currently have cancer, and they complained the entire time they were here. We tried as hard as we could to be able to adjust it, but we can only bump it up 2 degrees or down 2 degrees. That's all the control that we have over it right now. So we're asking council to approve the quote that was given to us to waive the requirement for us to receive the 3 bids that are normally required and allow us to use the quote from Denny's Heating and Cooling and Refrigeration Service, because they are the ones that always service our unit here for us, in the amount of $6,500 to replace the iView system, which will give us the opportunity to adjust to heat rather than air conditioning, or shut off or shut down a unit, so we're not cooling the basement when we don't need to, and the air conditioning is not running in the community room when the heat should be on in there.
Okay, thank you. Does someone want to make a motion?
Motion to waive the requirement to receive 3 bids and approve the quote from Denny's Heating, Cooling, and Refrigeration Service for $6,500 to replace the IVU system.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Garrett.
Yes.
Councilmember Jennings.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cantor.
Yes.
Councilmember Canes.
Yes.
Councilmember Miller.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Now we have the city administrator's report.
All right, I'm trying a new format in my report for you guys, so please let me know if this is beneficial or not. You'll notice that I have important dates, dates such as when we'll be closed, that are upcoming, meeting dates that are going to happen. Just as an operational FYI to you, our next year's inflation rate multiplier that assessors will use for property values is 5%. The inflation rate is 7.9%, but 5% is the max they can use and the highest that we've ever seen. And this is across the board in Michigan. So this is not just affecting Lathrup Village, this is affecting every community. There's training that's listed there that staff members went to. New hires that we have, we're happy to announce that we have a code enforcement officer that will be starting in January that has 27 years experience working for the fire department in Hamtramck, and he has retired out of there as their fire marshal, has a lot of experience doing inspections, working with the community, reporting. Most recently, he was doing their Department of Public Works and was the position of their director there. So he has a lot of building expertise and just overall a great guy to work with. So we're excited to welcome him on board. We do have a vacancy in our Parks and Rec department, and I will be addressing that early in 2023. Traffic counts from the police department and radar reports are included in the packet that were in your consent agenda that were submitted from the police department. We did file an application to the Oakland County Road Commission Federal Aid Committee for the amount of $432,768 with a 50-50 match for the work on 11 Mile Road from Santa Barbara to Southfield Road. In the prelim I got today, doesn't look good for us. It doesn't look like we're gonna score high enough yet again on that. So we were trying to bump up the match dollar amounts because 50% is still better than paying the full amount to do that road work. But we're keeping our fingers crossed that maybe we'll squeak in there somehow. And then I tried to compile all of the questions that have been asked of me since I started here, or issues that council has had, and put them in there, color-coded it, whether there are more done items in there. I just didn't put every little minute thing that has been done, obviously. But to color coordinate it so that you know whether I need to start that, whether it's in process, whether I'm looking into, something that I can't really say is in process yet, but we're looking into it because we really haven't started a project regarding that. And then training dates that are available for council as well. So that is my report for this month. Do you have any questions on anything that I submitted in there? Any questions that you'd like to ask about that? Again, I really ask that you utilize the Monday mornings that I'm setting aside for you, but I'm happy to answer any
What's
questions
the
you might
times
have.
for your Monday mornings?
9 to noon is the time frame that I set aside for that.
Any questions?
On the traffic updates, we have these traffic count radar reports in our packets every month. What's done with that information?
That would be a good question for the police that I can ask Scott.
I know in the past, he's utilized those to kind of strategically place his officers
For
to areas
ticketing.
that are seeing, areas that are seeing higher traffic or more potential violations.
And how is it determined that those counts will be done? I'd like to know that too.
Like where?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I know, just from having talked to Chief McKee in the past about this, a lot of it is based on requests from residents. So if people are, reporting a lot of speeding, they'll put it in those areas.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I just have a quick one. Sue, did you get a response to your doodle poll about the town hall? Where do you stand with that?
I did, in fact, and I believe everybody but Bruce can make it on the last date from the 7 to 8 p.m., but I'll send that out tomorrow to you so that you guys have the accurate time. In January, yes.
Thank you.
Or is it February?
It's February.
Oh,
I believe
It's February.
Let me look at my email.
That's the only one I checked.
will you send it out when you find it?
Yep.
Thank you. City Attorney, do you have anything?
Just wish everybody a happy holiday. Safe New Year.
Thank you. Any reports from boards, commissions, or committees? None? Any unfinished or new business? Public comment. Speakers unlimited to 3 minutes. You can come up and speak. State your name. You don't have to state your address. unless you
Just my
want
name.
to.
My name is Don Likestad, and I want to thank Councilman Cantor for holding the office hours meeting he did on last Tuesday, December 6th. I believe this is a good step in the improving communications in the city, and I urge the council to continue these meetings on a regular basis. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else want?
Hi, Jason Hammond, resident. Would also like to thank Councilman Cantor for doing the office hours. My hope is that each of the 5 of you will do office hours periodically, that it won't just be one person, but that we rotate through. I know there's been suggestions to move the timing of it so that more people have an opportunity to participate. 4 to 6 was great for some people, but maybe other people need it later, so there's that. Just moving the meeting time around would be helpful. I think I had another thing. Shoot, I lost my train of thought. No, I guess I'll stop right there. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else?
Lori Coons, and since it was brought up about the meeting with Bruce Cantor, I appreciated the time and a chance to get answers to questions, but I didn't feel that it was comfortable with other people in the room and trying to answer my question and then coming at me over the table. I felt very threatened, and I said so at first, please do not speak to me. So I would appreciate the privacy because I felt like I got really upset during my time, but I appreciated how you got back to me on everything. So thank you. But I do wonder how we're going to share everything. Like, do you tell the other council members, like what I talked about?
I'll address that in my council comments.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to be everyone on the same page.
Thank you. You're going to get in a chair. Thank you. Anyone else?
I remember my thing.
Go ahead.
Apologize for that. Again, Jason Hammond. There's oftentimes during council meetings where questions are brought up by council members about things that are in reports that are presented to the council. I would like to hear answers to those questions as well as the people who are on the council asking those questions. And so I think doing some homework ahead of time collaboratively between the city administrator and the council members to ask those questions and get those answers so that they can actually be discussed in the council meetings would be helpful. I want to get those answers too, right? I want to know. It seems like the questions get brought up, there is no answer that's available right away, and then it never gets brought up again. So it would be great to be able to, if taking advantage of the city administrator's office hours in order to either figure out if there are answers or not, and if there aren't answers, then that can be presented during the council meeting as well, right? So then more investigation can be done. So we actually get to hear the resolution on the discussion about what the question is. That way we all have a clearer idea about whether things are being done appropriately or not, if things are being spent appropriately or not. So I would appreciate that, and I appreciate the city administrator offering up that opportunity to have those discussions before the council meetings. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mayor and council comments. I just want to say I wish everyone a happy holidays and a happy new year. And I hope that when we go into 2023 that we, during our time off, take some time to do some self-reflection and figure out what you want to leave in 2022 and what you want to adopt in 2023. It's always something that me and my family, we do, is doing the listings of things that we want to accomplish, and I'm pretty pleased. I'm crossing off a lot of stuff this year. So happy holidays to you all. Anyone else? Hearing none? I'll go. Oh, see how fast. Who's going first?
Go ahead, Karen.
Okay. I just want to say that in reference to the processes and procedures, we didn't make any agreements at the last meeting. I think there's a lot of other things that need to be worked out before we say we're in agreement on what the process is going to look like. I did ask some questions in the study session, and until some of those other things are worked out, I will continue to ask questions as I see fit. Secondly, I would like to welcome the Ambassadors Institute to Lathrup Village. They had an open house last weekend, and I was very impressed with what they've done in the building. Their facility looks great. They're very excited to be in the community. Dr. Felton has a very impressive background, and I think that the students will be receiving a great educational experience. And then I just want to say happy holidays to everybody.
Bruce?
Yeah, just wanted to say, had the office hours, what was it, a couple weeks ago now. We had, I think 13 residents came. We had a good 2.5 hour long discussion. It was only scheduled to go 2 hours, so that was good. A lot of really good conversation. To address your question, Lori, the original intent was to have it. I mean, I don't know if you saw when you came in, there was a sign on the door that had said, please knock, so I know that you're out there, because the intent was to do it.
I did see.
Well, the intent was to do it one at a time, but it just kind of morphed into it, and it was, for the most part, it went well that way. I know there was a little tension at one point, but so I apologize for that. For council, I mean, it was just there were a lot of things discussed, kind of the run of the day kind of things that we deal with. So there were things, questions about the parks and the street lamps, and questions on the audit, construction that took place this past summer, some questions on the events and how some of those are marketed. Council person follow through, so making sure that things that are discussed, kind of what Jason was just talking about, get followed through on. There was questions about the police motorcycles. There were issues brought up like sprinklers and ditches, Bloomfield construction plans, DDA qualifications, and so forth, and all of those things. Sue can attest, because she probably woke up the next morning thinking, why did we do this? Because she had a list of emails of follow-up questions, things that I couldn't answer or that I needed to farm out to be addressed. And Sue has been good in following up with those, and as she's been following up back with me, I've been following up with the residents to let them know the results of or the answers to their questions. to Jason's comment, that is the intent. I'll probably do it again, and again, as I mentioned, both times we talked about it in the past, hopefully other council members will do this too, or we could rotate it, but, I'll probably do it again in January at some point, or maybe early February. And the idea is to rotate the times, as I said, a few weeks ago when we announced this. So the first one, I kind of tried to overlap a little bit of the daytime, a little bit of the evening, to get both crowds, and I'll probably go one way or the other, next time, so moving it around. Also had on here to welcome the Ambassadors Institute. I was unfortunately not able to make the open house, but it's good to hear that it went well. I also want to just make one real quick comment. I just want to congratulate Pam, our treasurer, on the audit that was presented last week. That was 20-plus years of her having an audit with no exceptions. I think we got into a conversation on council about some of the minor deficiencies that were reported by the auditors, which are important and do require to be addressed and to be discussed, but they were not material weaknesses. They were classified as minor deficiencies, and I think because of that conversation, I think it gave the impression that the audit was a failure, or we failed the audit, or that we were, had material deficiency weaknesses that we had to work on when we didn't. We reached, we had a no exception on the audit, which is the highest standard that you can get from your audit. And so congratulations out to Pam for that. And then lastly, I just want to wish everybody a happy holiday and a safe holiday season.
Thank you. Does anyone else?
I'll just quickly say, happy holidays and happy new year. I don't have anything to report on, but I hope just as a group, I hope we can just get better next year and do what we need to do, and that's it.
And I'll finish. Happy holidays, everybody. And I do hope to see more cooperation and congeniality between residents and council members. That's our goal, my goal for 2023.
Anyone else? Hearing none, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We've been adjourned.